when you are badabadaba, Okasa de dead, or fair was sent to a day. Or him at him, I say, I'm a coya one day. Or him at him, I say, or him at him, I say, or Domini Obia, or no, I get who quantity for promise. And I will never leave you lonely. You are one and only, yeah. Oh, don't be a do, yeah. Oh, don't be a do, whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, don't be a do, oh, 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 yeah. Oh, don't be a do, yeah. Oh, bye, wala da da da, wanye wala so. Oh, bye, wala da 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 da, wanye wala so. Whoa whoa, kau pangba forget a cry. Iwa waya wada be a ego, ego. You feel up. Oh, bye, wala da 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 da. Wanye wala so da, kawa fangba forget a cry. Niwa waya wada be a ego, ego. Who the only answer again? Na inna the Allah that bad man dem man. Who tell feel like again? Make you take them to that dance hall again now. Time and time again, we go fall, we go rise and fly again. Why that walk the again? And yet I'm TV that is my luck. You're gonna look at Panama. Yeah, yeah. Bye, wala da, da, da. One year while I saw. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Officiality and agrabu. Christianity and agrabu, you know, is I so my bravo. And I mean, can I make us our sooner? The very said, I come up with time and I should do it. And I mean, can I make us our sooner? The very say, I come up with time and I should do it. Never persuade me what dream. Is there any more that I am into me? I know say I love not a fade away. We are not got nothing else to say. And if you love me for really for you for your rights, officiality and agrabu. You don't desire so my bravo. Officiality and agrabu. Call your door. No, daddy, your door. Stop room, me a roll up patching na me gana. Them the spread room, Rasta, Becky Magana. See we must have every place, America, London, Jamaica, Antarctica. Big nation, fund them a Casablanca, in a Casablanca. Them attack fast, could never matter. Could I see this a mistake, them plata. And gas with them a go cool like water. Those style tell them fi Santa. I jar over everything, and I am a government of the mountain. Style. So me not look back when I take a gas, girl, them Nazilian way. Bafira, la li la lo, la li la lo. I just come out my eye, cause I see many past this one. Shut up block like boat, shut up your block like motor. I just come out my eye. Many price, many fall, many rise, many dollars, many sacrifice. but some get all. Some they rock the tax to go PayPal. Many price, many fall. Many lives, many dollars. Many sacrifice, but some get all. Some they rock the tax to go PayPal. Anyway, so long as we live our pray, John, leave me as great. So we not look back, we not take our yes, cause them not in the way. Sampatuna putu, sampatuna peche, sampatuna putu, sampatuna peche. Sanema. Putu. Better, yeah, down no say, la. I'm already come down, snip me pocket, take all of our money in my pocket. I'm there with me, get my heart for the lucky. Who does season now? I take money like the bank killer. I might not make Bobby Floyd with her. Fear I claim, when I go change color, bodies, when I go change color. Yeah. Say she wanna vibe with real bad man, me are the real. She say she wanna vibe with me, me are the original. Leave it up, I'll leave it up, baby, leave it up, I'll leave it up, baby, leave it up, I'll leave it up, baby, leave it up, baby, leave it up, baby, leave it up. Y'all live it up, 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 live it up,
City TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363. On GoTV, access City TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV on your television. City TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and StarTimes box. City TV, it's your world.
Imagine if you can get all the understanding on some of the difficult subjects you struggle with in school. As a student, do you feel dissatisfied with how hard it is to figure out the subject you're learning? Or as a parent or guardian, do you worry that your child is struggling to understand some of the subjects in school? Well, now you don't need to sign up for extra lessons or tutors. Simply tune in to Class Act, Mondays to Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. on City TV. Class Act is a show that seeks to enable senior high school students gain a much better understanding of what they learn in school. All you need is a TV, a chair, your notebook, and your pen. Get clarity on subjects such as maths, English, IT, and science. Class Act airs every Monday to Thursday at 5:30 p.m. on City TV on DSTV channel 363 and GoTV channel 182. Don't forget your pens, pencils, and your notebooks and tune in to Class Act only on City TV.
Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast Daily on City TV.
Yes.
It's a gorgeous Wednesday morning.
Yes, absolutely. It's a fantastic day. It's really bright and beautiful here in Accra. And welcome from wherever you are watching us in the world. My name is David Kwekusechi.
And I am Agyapa Amata. Let us know how the end of your month is going. How are you meeting those targets? How are you prepping up for September? Let us know all of this with the hashtag Breakfast Daily.
Yes, and our WhatsApp line as well is +233 550 585832. We'd definitely like to hear from you.
Definitely. And every morning we start the show off with some words of motivation. So we'll take a look at our words today. What do you speak? What you do speaks so loudly that I cannot hear what you say. Wow.
Yeah. Ralph Waldo Emerson. So that's very powerful. Basically saying that, look, don't tell me what to do. Do it. I'll learn from you.
I think it's, sometimes we take that for granted. When you're raising kids, for instance,
especially
you can
kids.
tell the child, don't do this, don't do that. At the end of the day, they are going to mimic what they see you do. And I think sometimes we underestimate the power of our actions. So if you want the world to change, start by changing yourself, and other people will be inspired once they see it manifesting in you.
Absolutely. No, I can't agree more. I mean, I think it's so important for us to live it. Too many times we say things and with all good intentions and everything else, but what we need to understand is that the greatest power is in doing and not saying, but doing. Make sure that you live it.
Definitely. And it's in the small steps. I think sometimes when you're just talking about it, we all have people in our lives where we're like, all right, we're sick and tired of you saying you're going to do this and never actually doing it. But once you start, you're like, oh, it's actually not as difficult as I thought it would be, And before you know it, one of my greatest quotes, it's from Mariam, which the woman that said, our greatest fear is that we're not... we're not inadequate, but we are powerful beyond measure. So she says, as I let my light shine, I give others permission to do so. So there are a lot of people in our lives who are not going to tell us that they are watching us. They won't like your comment. They won't say anything, but they are silently watching you, and they're being inspired by the little things you do. So we take the things we do for granted, but thousands of people, especially now with social media,
it's so important,
wake up every day and they're inspired that if David can do it, why not me?
Why not me? Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. Well, talking about getting things done, the government had the MPP had the manifesto launch, and they gave us a whole list of things that they've actually done, and are in the process of getting done.
And even before that, the Vice President launched
also the tracker, the delivery
portal for us to actually see what was going on. I think it was just a week to yesterday when he came out late afternoon, telling the whole nation that we want you guys to hold us accountable, so you can go on this portal. If we say something has been completed in your community, all you got to do is look for that community and check if it's done. And maybe he thought we were not actually going to do it, but we have a lot of time to actually make sure that the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. So we picked the Adentan municipality. We went out there to actually see if the projects they said they had completed actually existed. So roads, for instance, they talked about how some roads at Lakeside were going to be fixed, some roads going to School Junction, all these areas. We're like, all right, let's physically go there and see it, right? We're going to show you guys that report. But before that, I want to walk you through actually how to find your neighborhood within that portal. So we'll go onto that website right now and show you how you can easily find your neighborhood. So if our guys can get right there, so
the site is deliverytracker.gov.gh. So it's very just remember that, and then we go to infrastructure. You want to do the infrastructure?
Yes, let's do infrastructure.
Infrastructure tracker. So we can.
So right there, it tells you they have total 18,122 infrastructure projects. 9,342 are complete. And now every day they update this number. So if you went there last week and the numbers have changed, it's fine. 18,778 are ongoing. So those are pending projects that may not have been completed yet. Now, if you want to find your neighborhood, you just go to the left side of this screen that you're looking at on their portal. And what area would you want to check out, David?
So let's do Greater Accra. Since we are in Greater Accra, let's do Greater Accra.
Okay, we'll do roads first. With the category section that we are, we'll just click on roads, because that's what we're going to look for this morning.
Okay.
So you just scroll down. Once you keep going down there, you will find what you are looking for. And if we just keep going, it should be able to show us roads, or we can do schools.
Well, I think there's road infrastructure under the broad categories there. So you could take a look at road infrastructure.
Yay, we found it. Then we will continue to go on now. Once you do the roads.
Yeah, so you go to the target infrastructure. If we want to do that, then we can say, for example, there's so many different things under that. But under roads, we can say cocoa roads, or we can look at, something else. But what we have here, we have cocoa roads. We also have bitumen surfacing and construction. So maybe you can look at bitumen surfacing and construction.
Okay.
That will show us those roads which are being done at that stage. Yeah, let's do bitumen surfacing and construction there.
Okay, and that is actually the fourth one that you see.
Yeah.
So you just count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you see that there. So we can just get rid of the cocoa road so that there's no confusion going on there.
Then we do
go to the next one.
Greater Accra. At least that will give us some context for where we find ourselves. Okay, then in the Greater Accra area, we have the Agyapa municipality. So we can go there under district. Okay. And let's look at status. So you can look at the status there and say, okay, should we look for completed or ongoing?
Let's do completed.
Let's do completed, okay.
So it looks like there's an issue there, because when we did it, it was actually not, this is not what came out. But guys, just go on that website, play around with the different tabs that you'll see there, and eventually you will get some, some numbers depending on where your community is. Now, a few days ago, we went out to the Agyapa municipality to actually ask the people there that we've heard that these roads have been done. I mean, when I played around with the website, I saw that about 11 roads government said had been completed, and some 3 schools were also completed. So we're like, let's go there and check out exactly what's happening. So take a look at that report, then continue the conversation. On Tuesday, August 18th, the Vice President, Dr. Baumia, presented the status of the various projects the MPP administration promised to deliver to the people of Ghana. He also launched a delivery tracker portal for Ghanaians to check and verify the existence of said projects. The City News team set out to the Agyapa municipality, where government claims to have completed some 11 roads and 3 schools. We set off at Lakeside Estate, make our way to Asheye Ampoma village, and finally to Doku. At Lakeside Estate, the road looks worked on, but still has huge potholes. Kobina, a resident, talks to us about drainage issues and its impact on the road.
The road was constructed 2 years ago, and we have some patchy potholes on it, and the potholes was repaired about 6 months ago. And this area itself, we have a big problem here, because from the gate side to the third junction, this place has become a valley. So when it rains, water from all the 4 angles come together here, and no car can cross and no car can come out. It affects us here a lot, because for me, for organizer like this, I deal with the cars and the road. When inflating somebody's tire, drivers dodge potholes and drive towards me straight. And sometimes I get up and run from the road and give them way to pass.
At Ashiye Ampoma village, Asha, also a resident, says although the community is ecstatic about the completion of the 3-unit classroom block, the sizes of the classrooms are too small for the number of students.
The school is up to JHS1. They've not enrolled JHS2 yet. It's only up to JHS1. But one thing I've observed is the class sizes. The class sizes are too small. And the number in the classes are too much. They are above the class sizes. The kids are congested. At first, in a class, there are 52 plus. But now, I learn 70 plus. But the class sizes are just small. But now there's 70 plus, and some are even sitting on the veranda. They don't even get decks or space in the classroom itself, so they sit on the veranda.
Finally, at Doku, a resident tells us more about the road, which looks complete without any potholes.
What I know much about the road is that formerly it had some potholes, but they used to patch it timely. But when the change of government came, that was after 2016 election. Yeah, it was from the first year of this very government that I saw there was this big asphalt being done. As a rider, you need to get a smooth road, you understand? And when you have a smooth road, you have a smooth riding. There's no this kind of dodging potholes and a whole lot of things that will cause an accident. You know?
All right, so you saw that report, the road infrastructure that's going on, and the impact that it makes on people's lives when the roads are done adequately in every community. Wherever you find yourself, you may discover that there are things going on there, and sometimes there are promises made that, or sometimes politicians come out to say that we've done this in your area. If it's true, let us know. If it's not true, too, please let us know. It's important for us to hold them accountable to what it is that they've said. Yeah, Agyapa, so you were out there. What was your general impression?
Well, before I even went out to the community, I think I must commend government on the portal, because once you actually spend time going through it, it's pretty thorough. There are some duplicates in there. So, for instance, at the Agyapa municipality, there are a few roads where they repeated 2-3 times. But you will see that, for instance, they said that they've completed 11 roads. So they said they've completed the maintenance of the Ritz to Butcher Road, for example. They've completed the reconstruction of the Otano Junction to School Junction Road, if you're in that area. They've also completed the provision and spreading of crushed base material on parts of the Ashali Butcher Road.
Okay.
That's from the School Junction to Newtown Junction. So they don't really tell you the road, but the span of that road that they say that they've completed. They go on to say that they are working on a 1 kilometer road on the lakeside road of the Agyapa municipality. They've rehabilitated works on the Doku Road. So we compiled all these lists and we said, fine, Agyapa municipality is not that far. Let's go to Lakeside. So when you get to Lakeside, there are parts where genuinely they've actually done some work on the road. Before this, you would see that the roads were bad. They fixed the roads. There are other parts too where the roads have not been done and worked on at all. And then where this organizer was specifically, it looks like they may have done some patchworks, but the potholes were so big that you couldn't even dodge them. So as we were driving, we kept, falling into these potholes. So we asked him, he's like, it looks as though the work that they're doing, it's kind of like you're just putting Band-Aid on the issue. First of all, they've not provided enough gutters. So when it rains, the whole thing will just turn into a valley. All the water will just come to their area. Whatever work they've done on the road will begin to erode, and then you have this happening just in a few weeks or months. He's an organizer. He has to go out there into the roads to work on people's cars, so once you have potholes, cars are obviously going to try to dodge those potholes. There are a few times where he's had to run for his life because the car is trying to dodge a pothole. So not only is it bad for them, it's actually a threat to his own personal life.
Yeah.
Then we made our way to the Ashe and Poma village where they built the school. And as you can see, when we arrived there, the schools were genuinely built. You know, the third floor of that school was completed. The people of that community say that they are so happy that the school exists, because prior to that, their kids would have to walk long journeys just to get access to education.
Yeah.
Now the problem, though, is now that we have, you know, the building there, the classroom sizes are too small. So they're about, some students will have 70 students to a classroom.
Okay.
You know, and some of them will have to sit on the veranda.
So
some
the
of them
physical
don't have desks.
space there are actually small.
Very small, you know, so she was actually referring to the physical space, not the number of students, you know. And we know that student to teacher ratio is important when you're talking about the student's ability to concentrate, ask questions, actively participate in their own education. But if you have 70 students to one teacher, they'll get drowned out. So what's the quality of education these children are getting within this community? It's good that they have a school, but should we be looking at providing more schools so that we can now look at the quality of the education, not only the access bit of the education. And of course, at the Doku Road, they admitted that some work had been done, although a few people said a couple of months ago they just came to draw the white lines there. You know, you guys let us know, you know, it's in your hands. They've provided the portal. They are not keeping anything in secrecy anymore. Wherever it is you live, go on that portal and use the hashtag Breakfast Daily and let us know that, guys, I want you to come into my community because these are the things I'm observing and they don't add up to what government is saying. Or say it genuinely exists. They've transformed our roads, they've transformed our schools, and our lives are better. So we're not just trying to, you know, critique what government is doing, but we also want to celebrate it if they've done what they are supposed to do, because we need to get to a point where we all actively participate in our own development. Yeah.
I'd just like to say for viewers who are going to try out using the tracker, that it's a little more nuanced than your average search engine. So take a look at something like Adenta municipality. There's also Adentan municipal, which is a wider area. All right, so Adenta itself is there, but then there's the Adentan municipal, which includes so many other areas. So if you don't put the right thing in there, you may not get the results you're looking for, and you say, "Oh, my area is not covered." But maybe it's a bit more nuanced than that. So if you put Adentan, then places like Lakeside and so on would then start to show up. All right, so the tracker seems to be working quite well. And I think I'm quite impressed with what's happening.
Yep. Yeah. Well, we do have a packed show. Yep. Philip will be joining us later. What will you be discussing with him?
Well, you know how oftentimes there's the issue of, you have gadgets and you are struggling with things like keeping your data safe and, issues like that. There's a whole lot of stuff that we want to be discussing with him today. He's going to help us. Yesterday, he had an amazing show, on City Trends.
Yeah,
and
we're doing some debate there.
Yes, so I'm going to ask him a few things about that. But he's going to help us to figure out some stuff with our phones.
All right. And then after that, we have Hello, Mr. President. We'll be going through issues that you've sent us throughout the week. Don't forget that the show is interactive. So wherever you are, we want to hear from you. Just use a hashtag and that number, and we will receive your messages. My name is Jifa Ekia.
And I'm David Kukusich.
News Reviews next. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
There is no promise we cannot keep. There is no commitment we cannot honor. There is no delivery we cannot guarantee. There is only one Bethel Logistics Company Limited, a licensed international freight forwarding and clearing agent, a trusted global brand with an extensive network for the movement of air freight and ocean freight worldwide. We are the trusted name for road freight into Western and Northern Africa. We are fully accredited by Ghana Customs and Excise. We cater for all your freight forwarding, customs clearing and forwarding, cross trades, inland transportation, internal cargo tracking systems, customer freight costing and consultancy, cold chain logistics management, logistics and warehousing, quality inspection, and much more. In Accra, Tema and Takrady, we are always available to ensure easy movement of cargo countrywide. Call us on 0204 528 900 or 0244 707 859. Email info@bethellogistics.com. Locate us in Accra at North Ridge, adjacent Accra Girls High School, or in Tema at Community 4, or in Takrady on the second floor of the GCB building. Website bethellogistics.com. Bethelog, experts in shipping logistics.
Close-up deep action with antibacterial mouthwash formula and deep cleaning gel. Close-up deep action. Enjoy long-lasting fresh breaths.
Comprehensive news. The City Newsroom at 8 p.m. on City TV is your most engaging news bulletin on TV.
It's a very oh, that's too bad. The youth are still throwing stones. They are still throwing stones here into our direction. And can I come in? I want to come in. Okay.
Telling your stories better with correspondence covering every corner of the country.
Getting access to potable water is a daily struggle for residents of Kakichekopi and Balekopi communities in the Ada East district of the Greater Accra region.
City Newsroom at 8 p.m. Very fluent with issues that concern you.
This is quite a cover so someone is in a bread. Told you kind of a 1 week. What do you say?
Is it unfair? What all this? What all this? We are dying! We are dying! We are dying for Choco!
With City Newsroom, your community is now connected.
In this our community, all of us we are very sorry about this school. If we went to see the children, they are so small. Even my grandchildren are there. My grandsons are there. If they come out from the school, I have this.
Every day at 8 p.m., City Newsroom is live on City TV.
Election 2020, Ghana makes a choice. Tracking and bringing reports of the presidential and parliamentary campaigns across the length and breadth of this nation.
Analyzing campaign activities and election data with our panelists on the Voters Diary.
The Voters Diary is the most factual, instructive, and balanced election 2020 analysis program on television.
The Voters Diary every weekday on City TV from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Stay informed on all the relevant issues on election 2020.
Tune into the Voters Diary. It's Ghana's choice.
Welcome back. This is still Breakfast Daily on City TV. Thank you so much for staying with us. We'll take a look at our newspaper headlines, then some online stories, and then we'll introduce our guest. We'll start off with the Ghanaian Times. On the front page of the Ghanaian Times, we have Police GAF receive 5 pickups from Sanitation Ministry Zoom Lion to monitor and ensure environmental bylaws compliance in Kumasi. That story is on page 11. 4 million unique addresses generated for properties so far. It's coming from the Vice President, and he's talking about Ghana's digitization agenda. That story is on page 13. Ghana's COVID-19 active cases down from 1,712 to 1,664. 43,622 confirmed cases. Unfortunately, we have lost 263 lives in just 5 months since we started fighting this virus. So it has not gone yet. We're still living through a pandemic. And we know that a couple of weeks ago, we spoke to the scientists at Noguchi, and they told us that part of the reason that the cases may be going down is because we are not testing as many samples as we were when we first started dealing with this virus. We'll take a look at our final story here. Revocation of license of 9 banks. BOG pays all depositors. 95% depositors of collapsed microfinance companies also paid. That story is on page 12 of the Ghanaian Times. We'll now go on to the Daily Graphic. Balco Board outlines recovery plan. That story is on page 16. Regulate financing of political party campaigns. That's coming from CSOs, and that story is on page 16. All customers of collapsed banks paid. 95% of savings and loans microfinance depositors settled. It's coming from the Bank of Ghana, and that story is on page 3. We'll now go on to the Finder. On the front page of the Finder, we have all bank depositors fully paid. Today's great news for all the people who were depositors of the banks that collapsed. You can read more on that on page 4. Now, this is an interesting story that we'll be taking a look at shortly. Agyapa royalties, no interest principal payments under Agyapa royalties deal. That's coming from Upon Chroma, and he was responding to some CSOs. We'll be taking a look at that story shortly. Finally, COVID-19 has delayed but didn't derail Ghana's progress, coming from our Vice President, Dr. Baumia, and that story is on page 8. We'll now take a look at the Daily Statesman. On the front page of the Daily Statesman, we have Baumia, Ahofado is protecting our lives. That story is on page 2. Data costs to further go down in MPP's second term. So that's great news for all of you who love being on the internet. That story is on page 2. And finally, we fully paid all customers. That's coming from the Bank of Ghana. We'll now go on to the new crusading guide. NDC will collapse, free SHS. That's coming from Dr. Mamdu Baumia. And BOG performance fantastic. Akofado appreciates Addison and his team. Finally, we will take a look at our last newspaper, The Chronicle. No more Anansi trick banking. It's coming from Dr. Ernest Addison, who's the governor of the Bank of Ghana. The Ghanaian dream will be achieved under NDC. That's coming from Professor Nana Jane Opoku Agyapa, who is NDC's vice running mate. So she's a running mate to the flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama, for the NDC. Shut up and allow us to clean your mess, President tells Mahama and co. That story is on pages 2 and 3 of the Chronicle. We'll now take a look at some online stories. I'm going to start with citynewsroom.com. On citynewsroom.com, we have Wi-Fi for SHS's GES directed to review ban on phones, other gadgets. That's coming from the Deputy Education Minister, Dr. Yao Educhum, and he was speaking to Selom Adonu on Eyewitness News yesterday for point blank section of that news. And if you missed it, then you have to listen to it again. It was a really great conversation on our education sector and all the policies that they are implementing to make our youth more globally competitive. Government has been very transparent with Agyapa royalties deal. That's coming from the Information Minister, Kojo Upon Chroma, and of course he was responding to some 15 CSOs demanding the immediate suspension of the Agyapa royalties deal until government can be more transparent with exactly what they are doing. Asokore Mampong, man with 355 voters' ID card duplicates arrested. I don't even know how one human being can get that many voters' ID card, but I hope that this serves as a deterrent to people who are trying to get into this space. Let's not do that. Okay. 2 soldiers, residents, this is Greater Accra region, 2 soldiers, residents of Dome Fase, critically injured after clash over land ownership. This is really sad. You would think after the incident with Major Mahama, these things will stop. And actually, some of the leaders of that community came out defending their actions, and the soldiers also saying that the community came onto them. It wasn't a case of them even, shooting warning shots and these people defending themselves. And we'll be following this story closely to ensure that everyone will get the peace that they deserve. Ghana records 9 new COVID-19 deaths as active cases drop to 1,604. So it's quite interesting. You would think that as active cases are dropping, the number of deaths would also decrease, so that if you have at least that negative correlation, then you will say that we're making some progress. But if our active cases are going down and more people are dying, then how exactly are we fighting this pandemic? Then that is all to say that we should all continue to stay safe so that we can all make it to 2021. We'll now take a look at some business news from citybusinessnews.com. Remittances into Ghana shoot up despite impact of COVID-19 on jobs abroad. Well, this could be because some people are enjoying unemployment benefits abroad. You never know. But let's take a look at some more of the business news there. Gold and less volatile currencies growing in attractiveness. That's coming from an economist there. 41 shops of foreigners engaged in retail trade locked up at Swami Magazine, and from what we are hearing, this was a very peaceful exercise. No one, protested against it, and everything went on well. Hopefully, we're able to solve these issues with foreign traders participating in our retail space. We've paid all depositors of collapsed banks. That's coming from Dr. Ernest Addison, who's the Bank of Ghana's governor. And there's great news for all the depositors who are stressed out because they did not know when they were going to receive their monies after those banks collapsed. We'll now take a look at perhaps our last business news there. Critics of Agyapa royalties agreement lack understanding of deal. This is coming from Adubuahin, and of course he's in the finance ministry. He's a deputy finance minister. We'll now take a look at some local news from myjoyonline.com, some more local news from myjoyonline.com. Akufo-Addo never said citing an airport at Cape Coast was unjustified. So that is coming from Information Minister Kojo Opon Nkrumah. We'll finally take a look at some global news from BBC.com. On BBC.com, we have RNC 2020. Melania Trump makes plea for racial harmony. We know that last time Melania Trump addressed Americans, she was accused of plagiarizing speeches from Michelle Obama. So we'll see about that. Or the very first time she made such a big speech, she goofed a little bit. We'll take a look at some sports news then. Lionel Messi hands in Barcelona transfer request. This is some big news in the sports space. People don't want that to happen. Some people do. We'll see how that goes for them. And we wish Lionel Messi the best of luck with whatever is ahead of him in future. Well, now, if you want all updates on current affairs news, you know where to go, citynewsroom.com. For all of your business news, just head on over to citybusinessnews.com. And of course, for all updates on coronavirus, just go to citynewsroom.com/coronavirus. Now the show is interactive, so wherever you're watching us from, we want to hear from you. If you're on Facebook, just comment down below. If you're on other social media platforms, the hashtag to use to reach us is Breakfast Daily. And if you want to reach us directly, our WhatsApp line is 0550585832. If you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233. I have been joined by Daniela Mavis Matthias, who's a National Communications Team Member of the NDC. Good morning, Daniela.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being with us.
You're looking beautiful.
You're looking beautiful, too.
Thank you.
And you came very early. We appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you.
We also have Laratu Musasaka, who's a National Communications Team Member of the NPP via Zoom. Good morning, Laratu.
Good morning, Jipa.
Oh, you couldn't join us this morning?
Yes.
Well, physically, but you are here virtually.
Next time, I'll be able to join you.
Nice. Thank you so much for being with us.
Good morning to Daniela.
Hey, my sister, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you too?
I'm very well, my dear.
So we'll take a look at our first story here. I'll read from citynewsroom.com. It has to do with Agyapa royalties. So it says here, 15 CSOs demand immediate suspension of Agyapa royalties deal. And this story is by Sixtus Dong Ulo. 15 civil society organizations under the umbrella name Alliance of CSOs working on extractive anti-corruption and good governance are demanding the immediate suspension of the implementation of the controversial special purpose vehicle Agyapa Royalties Limited, established by government through the Minerals Income Investment Fund. The CSOs say until there is full disclosure on the beneficial ownership of the special purpose vehicle, Agyapa Minerals Royalties, the implementation of the deal should be deferred. Parliament last Friday approved 5 agreements to allow the country to derive maximum value from its mineral resources and monetize its mineral income accruing to the country in a sustainable and responsible manner, in line with the Minerals Income Investment Fund, that's MIIF Act 2018, Act 978. The approval gives Agyapa Royalties Limited the legal backing to secure about $1 billion to enable government finance large infrastructural projects. But chairman of the Alliance of CSOs working on extractive anti-corruption and good governance, Dr. Steve Mantiao, at a press conference on Tuesday, August 21st, 2020, said the deal is opaque, lacks oversight arrangements, and places Agyapa Royalties above Ghana's tax laws. I'm going to quote what Dr. Steve Mantiao said. The recent amendment of the Minerals Income Investment Fund creates more suspicion. The rushed amendment and inserting worrying clauses, including clauses that leaves a special purpose vehicle, Agyapa Royalties, above Ghanaian tax laws, outweighs Ghana's immunity, and by that exposes Ghana to the risk of damaging lawsuits should any future government seek to reverse this transaction. And we do know that candidate Mahama says that they may reverse this transaction when they come into power, if they come into power. But let's continue with what Dr. Steve Mantiao said. What we find even more repulsive about this whole transaction is the provision that permits Agyapa Royalties, a supposed company of the sovereign state, to register in tax payments to borrow money or raise equity in foreign currency from any source on the back of the gold royalties of Ghanaians, without the requirement of any further approval, consent, and administrative act of government of Ghana. This provision takes Agyapa Royalties away from parliamentary oversight and control. So he's saying that even the legislator may not be able to control Agyapa Royalties should we continue with this. Now, the Information Minister, Kojo Oponkorma, came to respond to that. So I'm going to read what Kojo Oponkorma's response was. Government has been very transparent with Agyapa Royalties deal. I'm reading from City Newsroom again on this. The Information Minister Agyapa Nkrumah has said that government has been very transparent in all transactions regarding the Agyapa Minerals royalties deal. His comment come on the back of calls by some 15 civil society organizations under the umbrella name Alliance of CSOs working on extractive anti-corruption and good governance for the immediate suspension of the implementation of the controversial special purpose vehicle, Agyapa Royalties Limited, established by government through the Minerals Income Investment Fund. So I'm going to quote what the Information Minister said on that matter shortly. So let me pick this one actually on from the Finder, page 5. So let's just go to the Finder, page 5 here. I'm going to quote what he said. Maybe Ghana could have taken advantage. So he goes on to say that under the transaction, Ghana now has a vehicle for undertaking participation interest in minerals exploration in the world over. He goes on to talk about this is not the first time in 2017 and 2018 the minority created doubts in the Vodafone deal. He goes on to talk about ESLA. He talks about, you know, when Ghana wanted to build the contract for our Sino-Hydro deal, the minority taking us to the IMF and saying that if these CSOs want more transparency, they can just ask for it and government will provide it, but they shouldn't just say that, you know, we should stop the deal because government is not being transparent. So I'll start with you on this, but before I even go there, let me go to Loretta since she's from the NPP. Loretta, your thoughts on these CSOs?
Yes, Jipa, good morning, and good morning to our viewers. And with respect to this particular topic, and you know my stance on the contribution of CSOs. I mean, they are part of the whole governance structure. They keep governments and other state institutions in check. And when we talk about nation building, we need all these bodies to be alert so the citizenry will be served the best deal. But in relation to this particular issue, dealing with the Agyapa royalties bit, I think the Information Minister's information that he's given, for lack of a better description, I think should bring finality to this, because this is a deal that has gone through Parliament. It has been debated. So when CSOs say it's not transparent, and we need to come out, is it information they are not getting from what we are hearing? The Minerals Income Investment Fund is there, and is an institution set by the laws of this country, set up to run the affairs of citizens in this country. So I think it will also help if it's information that these CSOs need to reach out to the fund and get the details that they need. Because for an agreement that has gone through Parliament and has been passed, it's a bit tricky to say there's no information. Obviously, our honorable men and women in Parliament were provided with the information they needed to know for this deal to go through. So I think it will help us as a nation if the CSOs engage the MIIF, that's the Minerals Income Investment Fund, which has been set up by an act of Parliament, to look at how we can develop the minerals sector. We've all had issues with how towns and other places that all these precious minerals have been mined over the years. I mean, if you take Obuasi, for instance, Obuasi, I think, is over close to 100 years, if not more, that gold has been mined in that town. And, we've had people come out to talk about the state of that town. We can talk about Pristia, we can talk about Univali, we can talk about Takwa and all these places, Agyapa, Mayanfre, all those places. So if we have an agreement that wants to see to this and set give citizens the best. I mean, it's good to ask questions. It's good to ask for the best deal in the interest of everybody in this country. But I think they should engage the MIIF and also heed to the information minister's call and come to the table. So these things. This is an agreement that's not going to add on to our debt stock, and also geared towards developing the mining sector and improve flows from the mining sector. So I think it's a deal that we should all rally behind and seek information and push for it to work.
But Doratu, shouldn't government perhaps take a pause, because so many people are raising concerns? Just a few days ago, the Africa Center for Energy Policy also said that the Agyapa royalties deal sends terrible signal to industry players. It looks as though some of the benefits we are giving to this deal may not necessarily be to our interest. So if so many people are raising concerns, is there anything wrong with suspending it temporarily to address all of these issues?
See, Jipa, if these CSOs and other institutions are going into the specifics, right? What I've followed is people trying to impugn that there's a certain group of people behind it, and that's the bone of contention. But I think that in the best interest of this nation, all the MIIF should be engaged for information. Let's go into the specifics. What do they really want to know?
Let's go into the specifics. For one, they want to know the people behind the deal. So if some private individuals are getting some 49% of the deal and the government of Ghana is getting 51%, who exactly are those people? The second thing, some of the tax exemptions, would that be to the benefit of the country? They also go on to talk about how, how the legislature is even going to be able to check this deal. Let's say if MPP government is not able to, retain power come 2021. So they've been actually very specific about some of the issues that they want government to address before it goes ahead with this deal. Hello, are you there? Okay, it looks like we've lost her, but let me get your thoughts on this, Daniela. Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay.
You're talking about those behind the deal, right? Or those who are going to own the...
Or just transparency in general. Sorry, it looks like we have an issue with your internet, so we'll fix that for you. But Danielle is here, so I'm sure she has a lot to say about the Agyapa deal. Please go ahead. What are your thoughts? And we know that your flag bearer is not for it, and a few people in the minority are also not for it at all.
Thank you very much once again, Jifa, and good morning to our listeners. Those watching us on Facebook, good morning. Before I go to this Agyapa, I'd like to greet our flag bearer, that is John Dramani Mahama, and then our RM, the running mates, that is Professor Nana Jino Pokwajiman. They are doing a good job. And I don't know if you've heard that very soon, when God willing, John Mahama comes, we will legalize Okada.
Yes, we've heard that.
And then
Okada people are very excited.
Exactly. Free primary health care for all Ghanaians. And then small businesses will also be exempted completely from tax.
Okay. I mean, so we're going to get into the Agyapa. Yes, so let's go on a break first so that you would get it for us. But okay, go ahead. You continue.
So we are very grateful to the former president for thinking about Ghanaians and being very, very sensitive to our plight. This Agyapa business, Asase Royalty Agyapa business, I recall that somewhere in 2008, Nana Addo Dankwa, the president, set up this Ghana Mineral Income Investment Fund 2018. And the main purpose is for them to invest in our royalties. In other words, manage the equity interest of Ghana. To achieve this, they set up a special purpose vehicle that will manage and sell these royalties. Then the Asase royalties which is now Agyapa Royalties, have to set up another subsidiary company, that is ARG company, that will collect these royalties, hand it over to Agyapa, then they will also invest in it. Meanwhile, we have the Minerals Commission, we have the Ministry of Mines and Natural Resources, we have Bank of Ghana, we have the Ministry of Finance, who are already managing these mineral royalties. In other words, these structures already exist. So there is no need for us to go and set another SPV or another company to manage our mineral royalties. This Asasi royalties or Agyapa royalty was registered in Jersey in the UK, an offshore island, and it was registered in November 2019. What we are asking is that what kind of experience, background experience, do these people have, and why an offshore account? Why New Jersey? This Jersey UK and New Jersey US confuses me. Why Jersey? Of all places that it would be difficult for anybody to go and investigate who the shareholders are, who the managers of these.
But it's already been passed in Parliament, so what is the concerns now?
My sister,
our members of Parliament must certainly know what they were doing.
You see, we shouldn't reduce governance to only the elected. This is a major policy decision. Selling of our shares, our mineral royalties, you have to involve all stakeholders.
But the nation is still the majority shareholder.
But then they have empowered the board to make certain decisions. What about if the board comes to say that, okay, we said that you will take 51%, but now we've reduced it to 40% or to 20%. Well, all that we are saying is that this is not, we have barely 3 months to an election.
Hold your thought. We'll have to go for a break and then we'll continue the conversation. This is still Breakfast Daily on City TV. Thank you so much for staying with us. It is an interactive show, so use the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line 0550585832 to contribute to the conversation. We'll be right back.
Thank you, sir. Hello, my name is Samuel Ofori, a film actor and a film director. Because of the nature of my job, the taste for quality things is endless. Quality phones, quality laptops, quality TV sets. Let me show you my secret. Here is Franco Trading Enterprise. My secret for quality laptops, quality phones, quality TV sets, accessories, come on, external hard drive, pen drive, name it. For bulk purchase and retails, come to Franco Trading Enterprise. They will reduce the price for you. Franco Trading Enterprise, home of quality phones.
Whoa, what's going on, babe?
Have you heard of Wheel of Fortune?
No, what's that?
Register on betplanet.com.gh. Select Wheel of Fortune and win a prize.
What? Wait, I'm just gonna win a prize because I'm new?
Yes, but to win a prize, you only deposit 10 Ghana Cedi.
Before I win, I have to pay?
Really? So you're comparing 10 Ghana Cedi to an iPhone, an iPad, 25,000 Ghana Cedi? Eh? Would you me a drink up? Okay,
then spin.
Yes! Babe, we are rich! We are rich!
Welcome back. This is still Breakfast Daily on City TV. Thank you so much for staying with us. It is an interactive show, so wherever you're watching us from, we want to hear from you. Use the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line 0550585832 to contribute to the conversation. Before the break, we're discussing some 15 CSOs demanding the immediate suspension of the Agyapa royalties deal until government is able to be transparent about some of the things that, you know, we've agreed to as a country as far as this deal is concerned. And the information minister saying that the CSOs can just seek the clarification they need from government without necessarily saying that the deal should be immediately suspended. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Jifa, what I was saying is that we shouldn't reduce only governance to the elected.
Okay.
If you say Larati, I heard Larati saying that Parliament approved of it, but then we have other stakeholders that are concerned, the community where these mines are extracted from. We have all these people involved. What is the scope of conversation or discussion that has gone on before taking this decision? And we have 3 months to an election. Why the rush? This is the question. There is no full disclosure on this particular transaction. The civil society groups are saying that this is a state capture, and we agree with them. Our president, incoming president, John Mahama, has said that when we come, we are going to investigate it and probably halt this transaction. Because even if these people are given 5 years to pay for the 1 billion that they are going to bring into the system for this large infrastructure, it means that according to the Ministry of Finance data, we get about 200 million every year from the gold royalties. It means that within 5 years, we would have finished paying the 1 billion. So what happens to the rest of the royalty? What happens to the rest of the mineral? And I am very surprised that Osafo Mafo, the minister of the senior minister, thinks that his son is the most qualified person in Ghana, that he by all means have to manage this account, and he is the most qualified, according to Kojo Opon Nkrumah. I heard him say that on Joy News. You see, this posture and attitude that the MPP and Nanado are taking, they have to stop. Similar thing happened with the PDS deal, where a whole national asset was handed on a silver platter to family and friends. What we are saying is that let's have a broader conversation on this issue. There is no need for us to rush. The structures already exist. Ministry of Finance, Ghana Minerals Commission, Lines and Mines, they are all there. They already manage these mineral royalties. Don't let us rush it. Let us stop. You know, the community where they get these minerals from, the central bank already gives them about 6 to 5% of this royalty. Meanwhile, on paper, they are supposed to get about 20%. Last year or somewhere, I recall that they said there was an increase from 20% to 30%. So you see a lot of conversations.
But is that unique to Agyapa, or that's just what's
what I'm saying is that even these ones, the Nananum, the chiefs, and the communities that are involved in this mineral royalties, are all not, they have all not been engaged. Now you are saying that if we need information, you are taking a major decision like this for the country. If we have taken the decision and it is now that you are asking us to come and get information on it.
Well, he's responding to the CSO saying that you can easily reach out to government and we will willingly provide the information.
That is wrong.
But we shouldn't just suspend something.
That is wrong.
Why is that wrong?
Because as I said, we shouldn't reduce governance to only the elected. It has to do.
We
need a broader
people to serve our interests. That's why we have a democracy.
I can tell you on authority that the minority in Parliament kicked against this deal.
But the minority kicks against everything, according to the information minister.
It's not true.
He listed, for instance, the Vodafone deal, ESLA, even the Sino Hydro deal. You went as far as reporting the entire sovereign nation to the IMF.
Jifa, that is not factual. When they wanted the bill passed on the restrictions for COVID-19, that's an example that I remember. What did we do? Because it's a national exercise, a nationwide exercise, they supported it. But we are saying that there is no rush. Why are we rushing? And who are the managers? Who are those that are going to manage our royalties for the 15 years? There is we don't have full disclosure on this. What we are saying is that don't rush it. 3 months to an election year. Why? We don't need this.
Laura, too, is it possible to perhaps wait till the election is over and then revisit this deal?
It's quite amazing. And this cherry-picking attitude of the NDC is becoming unbecoming. In 2018, the Parliament of Ghana, with active involvement of both sides, improved and approved the Minerals Income Investment Fund bill. Not need. I mean.
Sorry, it looks like we're struggling with your internet there, but let's see if we have you back. Yes, we hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, what I said was that in 2018, the Parliament of Ghana, and we all know what the Parliament of Ghana is constituted of. There are two sides, mainly of the MPP and the NDC, minority and majority, approved this bill, passed it into law, and the President assented to it and inaugurated the board in 2019. So when Daniela talks about it being rushed, I'm wondering what the meaning of rush is. There's a board. There's a board to this fund that cuts across all the major stakeholders that are supposed to be on board. There's a rep from the Bank of Ghana. There's a rep from the Domestic Tax Unit. There's a rep from Ministry of Finance. There's a rep from Absa Bank Ghana, among others. So what are we talking about here? Is it because the NDC is averse to innovation?
Well, if these CSOs who are not part of the minority are raising these concerns, can't we just take a pause and say we'll take our time to address all these issues? Go ahead, wrap up for us.
If something has traveled from 2018 with both sides of Parliament, and you know the NDC minority, when they are walking out of Parliament, they walk out to everybody's hearing. They walk out and make it a big deal. Did they walk out on this? Right. They are, I think they are averse to innovation, and we need to really look at this.
Okay, but
we've taken these royalties for God knows how long. And the state of these towns, I lived in a mining town. I grew up in Obuasi. I'm a beneficiary of a mining town.
Please wrap up for us.
We know the state of this nation. Please.
And we also know the state of Obuasi after all the gold that people mined there. You can't even compare it to places like South Africa.
To make sure the sector is improved. I think it's something that should be applauded and not something that people should try to dig in. With the CSOs, like the Minister of Information has said, the information is available. They shouldn't let the NDC reduce this conversation to who owns it.
But is there anything wrong with finding out who owns it as well?
There's nothing wrong with it, but they shouldn't reduce the conversation make it massive because someone is behind it.
No, but they also talked about the tax exemptions.
The board, until this thing is rolled on the stock exchange, is the board that has 100% ownership of Agyapa.
Okay, so we'll just move on. But we can still.
And this fund has a board that cuts across all the relevant stakeholders. Let's put it in perspective.
We have to move on now.
Has said, engage the fund, engage government. You get the fine details of it, but don't let the NDC try to play politics about with this thing that will not to the benefits of the nation.
Okay. We'll move on now, but then there are some people who are also of the view that government should be engaging all these stakeholders, especially the CSOs, and it shouldn't be the other way around. But the next topic here has to do with the depositors of the banks that were closed down. I'm reading from page 4 of the Finder. It says all bank depositors fully paid, 95%. Savings and loans, microfinance depositors also paid. That's coming from Dr. Addison. So the Governor of Bank of Ghana, Dr. Addison, has stated that all customers of the 9 failed banks and over 95% of customers of the specialized deposit-taking institutions that were affected by the banking sector cleanup have received their deposits. So I'll get your reaction on the story.
Yeah. Before I come to this story, my sister briefly mentioned some about the board. Is she talking about the board members who are also board members for Agyapa? Because we have Madam Felicia Ashley, who used to be an executive assistant to the president of Data Institute. All these people, there is no full disclosure.
Is there any illegality in that?
What we are saying is that it will be conflict of interest. Whose interest will you be serving? Will you be serving the interest of your political party, or you be serving the interest of Ghana? Why can't
so the issue now is not transparency with the people involved.
Exactly. But you should not even go when it comes to the board. When it comes to the board members, you shouldn't even go there at all.
Okay, let's move on to
you see, the claim
depositors.
that over 90% of depositors have been paid, Jifa, cannot be true, cannot be factual. You see, what has happened is that they haven't actually paid the monies in full.
Okay.
It is not physical cash.
Okay.
They have issued bonds, or what we call promissory notes, to these depositors that they are going to pay them the money in 5 years. What they have done is to just pay a small amount of the money and issue these bonds that will pay within 5 years. In 5 years. And what is very worrying is the fact that they are going to pay them in 5 years without no interest.
But is there anything wrong with that?
Of course, if you go and why do you put your money in the bank?
But these are banks that have failed.
People borrow.
So
how did they fail?
The government has come in to bail out and clean up the sector. Shouldn't we be happy?
That is another argument altogether.
Yes, but
because how much money have they used? How much money have they used to clean that sector? Couldn't they have pushed those monies? Couldn't they have taking those who are responsible for collapse of this bank and treated them differently from the workers and the depositors? You have the money. What is happening is that they have only paid small amounts of the money and then issue this bonds. If I have 10,000 Ghana cedis, you have 10,000 Ghana cedis with me, and then I pay 5,000. Let's say I pay 5,000 and give you a bond and tell you that within by 5 years I'm going to pay you the 5 Ghana cedis without interest. Will you be happy?
I mean, given the conditions, I think the depositors should
be rest assured that
they are fine. The banks
5 years
were failed banks. They've been closed down. The government has cleaned up the sector, and their deposits are at least secured.
The Depositors Association has also come out to challenge this claim that majority of their people, they have not been paid. We have about 53 investment institutions that were also collapsed under this the Security and Exchange Commission.
But the Security and Exchange Commission, are you talking about the men's gold, men's bank folks? That one, they were warned multiple times to not participate in it.
Their money.
BOG said they did not fall under them.
You have
so
their money.
Those to the
who was supposed to regularize these people? Who was supposed to do the monitoring?
And they were aware when they took that risk.
Over 3 billion of these depositors' monies have not been paid.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of people have lost their lives. When the Depositors Association made this claim and backed it up with the data, the majority of their people have not been paid. Bank of Ghana, as of today, has not come out to challenge this claim. All that we are saying is that if you are touting yourself that you have paid the depositors, you have paid all of them, put the details out there and let the public be the judge of this. Why are you hiding it? It's like stealing your pay master and then tell you, oh sir, everything is correct, sir. Meanwhile, the people are suffering. If you believe that you have done this payment, put the data out there, put the information out there, and allow the people to judge for themselves. Because they are complaining, all the association members are complaining that our monies have not been paid. So they should put the information out there. Very simple.
Okay. Laura Sue, your thoughts on the story?
I get sometimes excited, amazed and worried when the NDC has the moral audacity to talk about this. We haven't forgotten the KM. We haven't forgotten God is love. Let's come to the banks and the financial institutions that had to be painfully closed down because of the conditions they found themselves in. Look, like the president said, and I believe in Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, a leader who believes in service to his people and a leader who believes in caring for his citizens. And as he said, it's a difficult situation we find ourselves in. But he's committed to making sure that all depositors are paid their funds.
Looks like
depositors have been right. Look, we could have decided to go the NDC way of pumping billions into these banks that were just defunct because they were reporting things that didn't exist. We could have decided to do that. When they pumped money into the banks, what happened? Individuals use these monies for their own personal things because the things that they were declaring to Bank of Ghana didn't exist. It's not a good situation for people to lose their jobs and all that. But don't also let us forget that 2 of the banks were absorbed by Ghana Commercial Bank. Then the others were consolidated into CBG. So don't let us also, it's sad that people have to lose their jobs. People have to wait for quite some time. But what we should be talking about now is the fact that depositors are getting their deposits. And government is committed to doing that. And also, let's also highlight the lessons we've learned from this. It has exposed the monitoring of these financial institutions and the banking sector within the 8 years of the NDC. And thankfully, the Bank of Ghana now has put in measures. And yesterday, if you followed the president's visit to the Bank of Ghana, the governor explained that now they've put in proper monitoring mechanisms. So now they are going to be getting the reports direct.
Looks like we have some internet issues there, but we will now move on to.
So
I'll allow you wrap up briefly.
Once we're declaring assets that they didn't have, once we're declaring that. So if the NDC today is sitting down and crying, well, what did they do about the situation? Was it all about just money into it, or making sure that depositors and all these people who have signed up for all these banks were safe?
Well, they've come out to say that if they were in power, they wouldn't have closed down the banks, for instance. They would have found ways to save those banks because they were locally owned banks, and their existence alone did a lot for local entrepreneurs.
But there are 9 banks and over 347 finance and microfinance institutions, right? So what did they do? They pumped money into it. And don't forget, it started under what happened to DKM and Godislav and all other institutions. If they were really dealing with the issue, why did those institutions fail their clients? Let's talk. This issue stop this ostrich approach.
Let's wrap up on the banking issue and then move on to our final story here. I'm reading from ccnewsroom.com. It says, Greater Accra region, 2 soldiers, residents of Domefase, critically injured.
So the government will get their funds. It's just left to those under SEC.
Thank you, Laura. Too. Let's try.
Give citizens a break.
Thank you. We have a few minutes to touch on our final story here, so let me just read briefly. 2 soldiers, residents of Domefase, critically injured after clash over land ownership. So 2 individuals believed to be military personnel and some civilians have sustained injuries after a clash between them and some residents of Domefase near Obom Domiabra in the Greater Accra region. Tuesday's clash was over a land boundary dispute. So we'll just speak briefly on this issue of soldiers feeling attacked, people in the community also feeling as though the soldiers were infringing on their rights.
Before I go on this,
have just a few minutes.
Because you gave Laratu a lot of time. I thought our time was very limited, but you gave a lot of time. You see, when you introduce high-handed measures to collapse local banks and local businesses. And you think that, oh, like the way she's saying it, oh, it is very unfortunate. It is very, very bad.
But there were management issues within these banks.
People have lost their job.
Innocent.
What about the workers?
But
what about the depositors? The woman who is selling tomatoes at the market and send her money to the bank. What about her? How did you protect her money? How did you protect these people? People have gone for loan.
NDC, a lot of these banks were still participating in these illegal acts.
What we are saying is that they are regulators. They are people that are supposed to check these people. We just have to empower the institution. But what you have done now is to collapse jobs, break the heart of people by taking their livelihood from them. What we are saying is that there are many ways to go about this. The way Nanado has collapsed businesses and banks, put it out there.
They have put it out there.
Where are the names? We want to see the list. We want to see the names because they come out saying that you have not been paid.
Okay,
so they should just put it out there. We don't want them to hide behind
addressing this.
We don't want them to hide behind
issue.
These
I'll
things.
just go right to Loratu on the
issue
of
the military
soldiers
issue is very unfortunate.
And
it's very, very unfortunate.
The capacity of the NDC is overwhelming.
So are you also not going to touch on the 2 soldiers and the residents issue?
During their regime, and they want to talk about a government led by a leader who believes in service to the people, making sure that depositors and all other stakeholders are taken care of.
Okay, so since both of you did not touch on the issue, I'll just go ahead and read more of it to our viewers.
The issue of the land.
Okay, then I have to start back with Daniela since both of you talked about it. So go ahead, Daniela, on the issue of the land.
The issue of the land, I think that violence, we should condemn violence vehemently in this country because Ghana is all that we have. When there are land disputes or when you want to destroy property to claim your land, we have courts. The courts are there. Go there, get a judgment, go with the police who are there to enforce certain laws and then claim your land. But you don't go there with court soldiers, people, because when you listen to the eyewitness reports yesterday, I listened to the MP of that area who said that the chief came to approach her. She was explaining that it was just a mere press conference that they were having, and they want to show media men pictures of the properties that has been destroyed and the lands that have been graded. It was a simple exercise, and this Achim chief came out with his men. Some of them even went to the bush and put on military uniform. What I want to say is that our military, the military institution, is a very respectable one. The military high command should investigate this particular incident because the military, that is not the work of the military.
But should people ambush them? Yeah.
You don't attack people who are not armed.
Well, they are saying that people were rather attacking them.
No, so what happened, according to the MP, I listened to her yesterday.
What the military men said. One of them says, our work is that we give warning shots so that when the other side stops, both leaders will sit down and talk. But this one didn't happen like that. They came and attacked us and said we came here voluntarily and not by assignment. We are known soldiers and we are not doing illegal criminal work. My major concern is that people didn't ask anything and they started beating us. So this is one of the 2 military men.
Why were they firing?
No, you said they
because
just
they were happy. No, why were they firing? Because if it is a normal press conference that the MP has taken the media people there for them to do due diligence, why are they firing into the crowd?
Let me wrap you on this and let's hear from Laura.
Let me wrap up.
Yes, we just have 60
What we
seconds.
are saying is that the military high command should investigate this. It is a very unfortunate incident and violence is not the last resort to resolve conflict.
Thank you. Laura, 60 seconds, please.
It's unfortunate what has happened, and I believe the appropriate authorities will deal with it. This also goes into the government's quest to look at the land administration in this country. So I think some of these issues bring to fore what to look at and what not to look at. It's an unfortunate situation, and I believe the appropriate authorities will deal with it as it has to be.
Thank you very much. Loratu Musasaka is National Communications Team Member of the NPP, and Daniela Mavis Mathias is the National Communications Team Member of the NDC. Thank you both so much for being with us this morning. And thank you at home for staying. Don't go anywhere. We'll be talking to Philip Kofi Ashong right after these messages. See, I didn't even...
election 2020, Ghana makes a choice. Tracking and bringing reports of the presidential and parliamentary campaigns across the length and breadth of this nation.
Analyzing campaign activities and election data with our panelists on the Voters' Diary.
The Voters' Diary is the most factual, instructive, and balanced election 2020 analysis program on television.
The Voters' Diary every weekday on City TV from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Stay informed on all the relevant issues on election 2020.
Tune into the Voters' Diary. It's Ghana's choice.
There is nothing as hard as a diamond. For buildings with superior strength that withstand all weather conditions, Diamond Cement should be your preferred choice. Locate Diamond Cement nationwide with factories in Aflao, Takrady and Bupe. Diamond Cement, as hard as a diamond.
Those with untold stories, unraveled feats, life-changing stories, and lasting legacies. They tell their stories themselves on footprints.
I didn't hear let him go. I heard come and take him. They took me to another room. There was this muscle man with the cane ready. Guam with 12 canes. Then I told myself I won't yield. So I kept my teeth together. Pow, pow. I mean, heavy canes.
Lecturer at KNUST.
Lecturer, very popular lecturer, based in KNUST, being whipped by hand by a soldier who, you know.
Be inspired by their hard work and resilience that led to their outstanding achievements as we trace their footsteps through time.
Well, I was able to set a record at Apollo.
Wow!
Because Apollo is a place that, you know, it's not only one act.
Yeah, of course.
So when you perform one song, you need to leave for the next act to come. I was able to do 2 songs at a go.
Wow.
Because when I was performing, all of a sudden, about 3 African-American girls, they jump on the stage, started to do my songwriting thing with me. Then the whole, hey, everybody, hey. Then when we finished the music, then I said, do you want more? They said, yeah. Then I looked at the face of the promoter. He couldn't do nothing. He said, okay, go ahead. You know, then I put in the Sumgodu, because my first what I did was this song that you hear, Brent said. That's what I did. After that, I put in the Sumgodu. Man.
So join me, Samuel Atamensa, and my guests every Saturday at 9 a.m. and Sundays at 4 p.m. for Footprints, only on City TV.
Footprint is sponsored by Bethel Logistics Company Limited, experts in shipping logistics.
them say, you don't know, say. Twice African, a day you saw, a day you saw, a day again. African, once again, a day you saw, a day in Ghana. I am a day, out in van, till a day. Tell them say, I am a day, now say, what? No. I'm a ready, come dance, make me market. Take you all over money in a me pocket. Come play with me, take my heart for the love with ya. Who that says it now, yo. I take money like the bank teller, yo. I'm not me, but me Freud with her. You right, me I go chin color. Body say, me I go chin color, yeah. She say she wanna vibe with real bad man. Me a the real. She say she wanna vibe with me. Me a the original. Live it up, girl, live it up. Live it up, baby, live it up, baby. Live it up, girl, live it up. Live it up, live it up, baby. Baby, you love the murder. And I dream there with China murder. So open up for wider and come, yeah. Baby, you love the murder. And I dream there with China murder. So open up for wider, yeah. Minya water, little better. From little girl, man, and come to say eater. Very better, one I will fatter. Malafa you like summer and that winter. I say no matter, my love is a rooter. When you're ready, because I will love a doctor. The cops and pan back up, get back up with them. Twice in the belt, then I'll get back there now. She says she wanna vibe with real bad man. Me are the realer. She says she wanna vibe with me. Me are the original. Live it up, girl, live it up. Live it up, baby, live it up, live it up, girl, live it up, live it up, live it up. Baby, Kala Kame, go go gaga, go go. Baby, please understand, go go gaga. I know that I messed up, so you love me no more. Go go gaga, go go gaga. Hey, I am on day, tell them say, do you say, now that day. I am a day now say, I am an update man, Africana. Yo, they say, they come from Ghana. And so, I say, yeah. Live it up, girl, live it up. Live it up, baby, live it up. Live it up, girl, live it up. Live it up. Yo, see, men are far, men are come closer. Men are far, come close, you could tell them. When the backyard, I'm there. Tell them, sir. Live it up, live it up. Live it up, live it up. Baby, I love the murder. And I dream there with China murder. So we don't go wider and come. Yeah. Tell them say na. Baby, call like a man. Go gaga, go. Baby, please understand. Go gaga, go. I know that I messed up. So you love me no more. Go gaga. Up to down, to the left, na. Go gaga. Come and kiss I am man. Jay, go gaga. Hey, tinning it, tinning it, na. Go gaga. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, go. Cross every border, every ladder. No obstacle could have stopped my lava. I think me are fat, you are lava. But now me wonder why. I'm gonna kiss you, my pretty girl. I'm gonna hate you, my pretty girl. So come sit down, Ah, go gaga, go. Baby, call like a man. Baby, please understand. I know that I messed up, so you love me no more. Go gaga. Me not far, come close, no quick party. When you pack girl them there, you know that yardie. Hey, now make sure come to you, make a booty and show me to the one corner dance floor. Where them party day, show me where them party day. Today at the night on who I feel. I saw that thing go, party in Ghana. Party in Kingston town, party in Jamaica, party everywhere right now, party in Ghana.
Imagine if you can get all the understanding on some of the difficult subjects you struggle with in school. As a student, do you feel dissatisfied with how hard it is to figure out the subject you're learning? Or as a parent or guardian, do you worry that your child is struggling to understand some of the subjects in school? Well, now you don't need to sign up for extra lessons or tutors. Simply tune in to Class Act, Mondays to Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. on City TV. Class Act is a show that seeks to enable senior high school students gain a much better understanding of what they learn in school. All you need is a TV, a chair, your notebook, and your pen. Get clarity on subjects such as maths, English, IT, and science. Class Act airs every Monday to Thursday at 5:30 p.m. on City TV on DSTV channel 363 and GoTV channel 182. Don't forget your pens, pencils, and your notebooks and tune in to Class Act, only on City TV.
City TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363. On GoTV, access City TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV on your television. City TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and StarTimes box. City TV, it's your world.
All right, welcome back. It's time for us to do consumer tech. And on this segment of the show, Philip Kofi Ashwell is joining us. We're going to be finding out online shopping, how to make sure that our purchases are secure as possible and all those things that go with it. Good morning to you, Philip.
Good morning, Quick. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good this morning. Yeah, how are you?
I'm pretty brilliant. Pretty brilliant. So, I mean, this topic has come about, as a result of a lot of things that people have been doing during the COVID period.
Yeah.
A lot of purchases that people have been making during the COVID period, which is understandable because you're home, and you can't really go out
and get stuff done. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's just important that we take note of certain things and certain decisions that we make online in terms of our purchases and things like that. So I just thought to highlight some of these, for our viewers at home. So, I mean, there are a number of things that happen when you log onto a website or you find yourself, on one page or the other trying to make a purchase. There are a number of things that are going on behind the scenes that you might not necessarily be aware. And it's important that we have a few things in mind. Number one, there are people out there who don't necessarily like the idea that, you have a lot of money necessarily to make a purchase. And they want a bit of that. So you just have to bear that in mind. Also, there are a number of things that you yourself are not aware are happening, behind the scenes. And it's something that you need to take into consideration. The first thing that usually happens is that people want your information. They want your information for a number of things. To get access to either your bank details so that they can take your money. They want access to your email account so they can get more information about you. To get access to your bank details to take your money. It always leads to the money.
The money, yeah.
And so people are always coming up with interesting schemes to get access to your personal information so they can get access to your money at the end of the day. And so that's one of the major things that happens. So identity theft is one of the major things that happen. They use a phishing scheme, that is PHISHING, phishing scheme. You usually get a very weird email from some weird individual you have no idea of, or asking you to do one thing or the other, or offering you some too believable, too good to be true offer. Usually when you get these things, it is most likely that people are trying to get access to your information. You'll click on a link, it will take you to some website, you're asked to fill in your details, and basically that's how it happens. Sometimes it's even more sophisticated than that. Sometimes it can be so effective that just taking your mouse over the link alone gives them access to your details, and it's a very scary thing. But that's basically what happens these days. They ask you to register for gifts and things like that. Register today and win some amazing, incredible gifts that never seems to ever come up. Well, that's basically it. So that's one of the ways that, you know, these phishing schemes are one of the ways that people try to take your identity. Then there's card fraud. You know, you're making a purchase, you enter your card details, all of a sudden you realize that, you know, money is going out of your account for some reason. It's a number of things that sometimes happen. You are making, let's say you're on a website, you're making a purchase, and then they take you to the link where you enter your bank details and everything. Some people create dummy pages. You know, so instead of going to the page of the company that you are trying to deal with, the quote unquote legit company, what happens is that a sort of an alternate page has been created that looks very identical to, you know, that of the page that you're trying to get to, and you enter your details there, and voila, they have your details. And so these things tend to happen a lot, you know, and it's a very scary position to be in, especially if you're someone who probably doesn't do a lot of online purchases, and all of a sudden, you know, your money is being taken. So they create all these identical pages, and then they steal your data. There's also something called adware and malware. So sometimes you are on your phone and then these pop-ups just come out of nowhere. You know, you're on your laptop and these pop-ups come up, buy this or shop here and shop there, you know, and it takes over your screen. It's very frustrating. It most likely means that your device has been compromised. That's basically what it means. And usually what you need to do is probably do a complete clean sweep of your mobile device just to get rid of it. Because what's happening is that once these messages are coming through, it means that they have access to a certain part of your device. And if they have a certain access to a certain part of your device, it's most likely they can have access to other sensitive parts of your device. What it means is that you might be compromised. If a pop-up comes and out of frustration, you click a certain part, it can lead them to some parts of your phone where they can, you know, take your information. And so how do we fight all of this? Because it seems like quite a lot. One of the easiest things you can do is to ensure that whatever website you're dealing with, you have a look at the address bar. That is the bar at the top. Now, usually most of the addresses start with HTTP, and then look out for the little s. It's a protocol. Now, in dealing with web pages online, there are protocols that have been established that allow you to interact with these websites. So the interaction needs to be secure, such that a third party cannot have access to the information that you're sending to the other person. So let's say you sell tires. I want to buy a tire from you. Your website, when you set it up, must have a security protocol for me to be able to trust that I can make a dealing with you. Now, when I am making the purchase, I have to look out for that secure protocol. And all you need to do is just look into the address bar at the top, you know, of the web page. Make sure there's HTTPS and not just HTTP. Hypertext Transfer Protocol. That's basically what it means. There must be an S at the end of, you know, that's those cute little letters. If the S is there, you know you're dealing with a secure site or a secure, you know, page. That means that they have signed on to a security protocol, which means that the interaction you're having with them is secure. So that's one of the first things you need to do. Look out for the S at the end of HTTP. It just means that the website you're dealing with is secure. Now, the other thing you can do is to not send personal information in email. Try as much as possible not to send personal information through email to anybody. Just try as much as possible. Look for other alternatives that ensure end-to-end encryption. So, for example, when you're sending a WhatsApp message, I'm sure you've probably realized by now, you see end-to-end encryption. That, you know, that at least gives you a certain level of assurance. If you're not sure about the platform you're using to send the information, try as much as possible not to even do it in the first place. Always try to deal with legitimate websites. The offers might be nice, it might be attractive, but always try to deal only with legitimate websites. If it's too good to be true, it is most likely not true. A number of things that you can also do. The cards that you use to make the purchase, make sure that the bank that issues you the card has something called fraud protection. These are protocols that are put in place globally. It's a standard, you know, that ensure that the transfers and the purchases or the the things that you intend to do on the internet are covered with a certain level of security.
Yeah.
So make sure you check with your bank, make sure they are fraud compliant, or they have fraud protection for the cards that they are issuing to you. It might be nice to get your card immediately you request for it, but make sure that you go the extra mile of finding out if they have fraud protection. You might have a lot of money, but then there's no point having a card to use online and then losing all your money. Always try to do transactions on a secure internet connection.
Okay.
It's nice when you go to a public place and there's free Wi-Fi. Everybody loves free Wi-Fi. But with free Wi-Fi also comes a few problems. Now, these problems are such that people can create all manner of things on these free bits of Wi-Fi and can compromise your data. So my advice is don't do any transactions on free internet or free Wi-Fi. Make sure it's a secured Wi-Fi connection before you make any purchase. Also, try and create a dummy account on which you do your transactions. So for example, if you have an office email address or you have a personal email address that you typically use for most of your interactions, try as much as possible not to use those email addresses for your online purchases. Create another one and then use that one, so that in case there is a compromise, your main account is not the one that is affected. The final one is two-factor authentication, and we've talked about this a number of times. So typically if you're signing on to a service, username was your password. That's just one level. You need a second level where you will be verified that this is actually the person. This typically arrives in either an email or as a text message to your phone. Try as much as possible to activate two-factor authentication for most of your profiles. And I think with these pointers, you should be fine in terms of what you're supposed to be doing for online interactions and then purchases, especially that you'll be doing online.
I've heard of things like, you mentioned malware. I've heard of things like worms and Trojan horses and things.
Those are high-level attacks that typically people who are looking to compromise your data will inject into your system. So it can arrive sometimes in an email. It can arrive sometimes in a pen drive that is connected to your system. It can arrive in all manner of ways. The only bank details or your computer itself. There are all manner of viruses, that ransomware and things like that. And all these things end up just basically compromising your data, where you will have to let go of some money to be able to get access to it. So generally, if you follow some of these protocols that we've talked about, you should be fine in terms of engaging in online transactions.
And finally, this thing where people send the phishing thing you talked about. People send emails. How does one who is relatively, let's say, new to
the whole
email world, decipher and keep themselves safe?
If the person who is sending you the email, you know the person who is sending you the email, you've probably had some level of interaction with them. If the message doesn't sound like the person, or you've not had a conversation with that person prior, it's usually best not to take that message seriously. Also, one thing that usually helps is, if you have a contact with that individual, call them and ask them, did you send this email? Did you, there's nothing like a human to human conversation. So just, contact the person.
From you.
Was this really from you? Are you really in dire need of money? This is just a conversation away, and you should be fine. You should be fine. Anyway, so this is.
I see what you're.
This is the device we're talking about. We saw glimpses of this 2 weeks ago. We saw the videos, pretty excited about it, and we've had it. We've had it for close to about 6 days. Samsung made this particular one available to us for preview. You can have a quick look at it. So that is the Samsung Note 20 Ultra. As we talked about, there's a Note 20 Ultra and a Note 20. This particular one is a Mystic Bronze. As you can see, there's the green, the Mystic Green, and then the black as well. They have these very fancy names for it, but the Mystic Bronze seems to be the most popular color.
And the cameras,
Yeah, the cameras in the back. We'll be talking about the cameras in the back a bit. So there are 3 cameras, as you can see there, but this is the screen space. So the one on the left is the Note 20. The one on the right is the Note 20 Ultra. As you can see there, it's 6.9 inches. But this basically is a device. It has a dynamic AMOLED, screen. What it means is it's super sweet to look at things on it. I remember watching some Netflix movie on this particular phone, and trust me, it does feel good, especially when you put off the lights. In terms of how secure or how safe the glass is, they've actually done an improvement on last year's model of the device. It actually charges pretty quick. I usually got 100 or 45 or 50% in just a couple of seconds. So the selfie camera there is 10 megapixels, and the selfie camera there, and these are the three cameras in the back. These are the three cameras in the back. So you have the selfie camera, which is a 10 megapixel, and then you have these cameras in the back. There's the ultra wide. There's the ultra wide. There's a wide angle, and then there's a telephoto. The one that everybody seems to be screaming about is the wide angle camera, which is the 108 megapixel camera there. The ultra wide is 12, and then the telephoto camera lens also is 12. And these three work very well together. From my users, I did a couple of photos and videos at the weekend, and look, it's fantastic, especially when you use the slow-mo feature in it, and I'll be coming to that in a bit. This is how it works at night. What it does, this is a feature that we've seen in quite a number of models of Samsung devices over the period, where it takes multiple pictures, about 6 or 7 pictures in different light scenes or aperture levels, and then combines them into one picture, and that's what you can see there. They've also done a bit of a modification. You realize in the last one, when you hold the back, you leave a lot of fingerprints in the back. They've changed the material that they use in the back, so you don't leave that many fingerprints, and it doesn't slip too quickly out of your hands, so it does actually help. One of the things that really stand out about the device, all the notes so far, is what they call the S Pen. Now, the thing that they've done with the S Pen this year is that they've reduced the latency. Now, the latency basically is the time it takes for you to write on the screen, and then when it appears on the phone. They've reduced it to 9 milliseconds from 42 milliseconds. That's literally like a blink of an eye. So basically, this is what we used to have with the S Pen. It's vastly improved over the period, and now we have a 9 millisecond S Pen. So you can just imagine just how much you can do with that. Now, one of the things I just want to show you quickly before we go is the Pro Video. The Pro Video is what I wanted to show you. Now, what's happening here is that when you zoom in, when you zoom in, the audio also zooms into where the sound is actually coming from. So when he's playing the guitar, when you zoom in, you can get, the sound becomes clearer based on, and so it isolates all the extra sound, and then based on where you're zooming in, it focuses the audio there. So for those of you who like to shoot, professional videos, this is brilliant for you. And you have, it shoots 8K video, it shoots 4K video, you have 108 megapixels of, quality to basically choose from. It's a very sweet device. I have my own issues, for example, with the facial recognition, which doesn't work too well for me personally, and so I always end up going with either the fingerprints or the pin. But generally, it's a very, very good device. It's going to be it's available from 4th September, I believe. But for now, I think you can pre-order and make sure you get yours. But it's a pretty nifty device. It comes in 512, 256, and 128 gig of space.
As a photographer, I really hate to say this now, but who needs DSLRs anymore?
There's a place for DSLRs. There's always a place for DSLRs. That's one I have to confess. There's always a place for DSLRs.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. Well, fantastic. Thank you very much for that, Philip Kofi Ashom. He is the host of City Trends on 97.3 City FM, and also the head of TV production here at City TV. Well, we'll be right back with Hello, Mr. President. Don't go anywhere.
Comprehensive news. The City Newsroom at 8 p.m. on City TV is your most engaging news bulletin on TV.
It's a very that's too bad. The youths are still throwing stones They are still throwing stones here into our direction. And can I come in? I want to come in. Okay.
Telling your stories better with correspondence covering every corner of the country.
Getting access to potable water is a daily struggle for residents of Kakichakopi and Balekopi communities.
Saying you. This is quite a car for Miss Rabbi. Someone is here, bread. Told you kind of a 1 week. What do you say?
Is it unfair? What all this? What all this? We are dying! We are dying! We are dying for Choco!
With City Newsroom, your community is now connected.
In this our community, all of us we are very sorry of this school. If we went to see the children, they are so small, even my grandchildren are there, my grandsons are there. If they come out from the school, I have to be easy.
Every day at 8 p.m., City Newsroom is live on City TV.
Election 2020, Ghana makes a choice. Tracking and bringing reports of the presidential and parliamentary campaigns across the length and breadth of this nation.
Analyzing campaign activities and election data with our panelists on the Voters Diary.
The Voters Diary is the most factual, instructive, and balanced election 2020 analysis program on television.
The Voters Diary every weekday on City TV from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Stay informed on all the relevant issues on election 2020. Tune into the Voters Diary with Ghana's Choice.
Welcome back. This is still Breakfast Daily on City TV. Thank you so much for staying with us. It is now time for Hello, Mr. President, a segment that focuses solely on issues that you're experiencing within your community. So if you have any problems, bad roads, bad hospitals, terrible schools, things that are hindering your personal growth as a Ghanaian, and you want to draw the attention to the president to it, simply take out your phone and record an up to 1 minute video. Send that video to us via the email hellomrpresidenttv@gmail.com or via WhatsApp 0550585832. And every Wednesday at 9:30, we'll show the entire nation and the world what you are experiencing in your communities, and also call on to those policymakers who are supposed to answer to them to tell you why they have failed you. Now, last week we talked about the Avehime rice farms. Ghana imports over $1 billion of rice into the country every year, yet we have what it takes to produce this rice locally. If we were able to do that, that would mean that $1 billion that we're taking out of the country would be circulating locally. More jobs will be created during that within that sector, and hopefully we can even expand our production and supply to other parts of the continent. But because we have failed to do that, we are rather relying on importing rice into the country. Ironically, people in the Avehime rice farm area are saying they just want a factory in their community to be revived so that they can productively contribute to the rice that we all need to eat so that we can help our economy grow. We will take a look at some of the things they said last week and then continue the conversation.
Hello is my name. It all started well during President John's era, especially the endings of the 90s. When so quite along the line, the company was shut down, disappointing the entire community, especially the people of Agyapa and then the neighboring towns and things. So now that we have President Akufo-Addo in power, he said one district, one factory. So we are appealing to him so that it will come to our aid. There are maybe so that the company can be activate, so that the youth from Agyapa to come and the neighboring towns can get job and work. So as I stand now, the economic activities in the towns is so low. Everything has gone down. Very terrible. So we are appealing to the Mr. President to do something on this particular Agyapa rice project for us, so that the youth of the town, at least, things can get back to the normal stage.
I am a graduate, and the closure of this company has really affected us, because we all know that agriculture is the heartbeat of every community. When this company was first instituted, everybody was happy. Our parents were able to work to cater for us even when we were in school. But since the closure of this company, most of us were not able to continue our education, and we have to be in the house. Some of us have to be school dropouts. I even personally have to go through a lot of hardship to complete. And ever since I finished my national service as a graduate, and equally other graduates in this community, we've been jobless. We've been in the house for more than 6 years, 4 to 5 years now, without any work. And we have families to feed. Our children are hungry because we don't have any work to do. Even if we have to be job creators, we need to solicit funds from other places to create the jobs the government is calling we the graduates now to create. So we need quality grain to come back for us to be employed, have money, and create the jobs to employ other people. So the closure of this company is really, really affecting us, especially we the graduates.
The company, when the company started, we were all happy in this Agyapa community that we have a company like this in our community. And a few years ago, I have seen that the company has come down, they have shut down, and we don't know what happened. So I call in our MP, Honorable Kudeto Abrakwa, to come in and solve the situation for us. So when he came, he told us that it's not, we didn't worry. So the president is trying to come and restructure the companies for us. So right as I stand here, I am pleading to the government that it should come to us.
So those were some of the residents of the Agyapa rice farm area. We reached out to the Ministry of Agriculture. We reached out to the Ministry of Trade and Industry. They all said that they couldn't respond right now, and that next week they will provide us with the details that we need about when this factory will be revived, so that the people in the community can get employment and also contribute to the rice production that we need. Don't forget that over the weekend, NPP's manifesto launch, they did say that rice production was going to be key for us to develop and wean ourselves off depending on foreign imports. So we'll bring you back that conversation next week. We'll now take a look at the video we received this week.
President, Mr. John Kobna, because of Butray, Anta West, Butray, Yakuwa, Yafado Yapabron, taking the Dana Dana. Mr. President, yes, Rawala, that you win you are nothing in Upani. What's on there? Butray, Yakuwa, Abribiala, our Waba, and Srajo, and you look at the Butcher Kuyala, so not for Battiston or on a crapo, Wabafado, Waba, Wapa, Mr. President, I share a corner of Wafad Wapa and the California. Yes, so I'll road in Yakra. Yes, so when you Zimala. Yes, so I'll be Biala will be Ala. A Mazanda back when you're from National Poniami. Now you'll black. Pembe Brina, Miss Afunko Waropa. What's a black? I will go in as also those in Wissy. Yes, so Mr. President, Biala will be Ala. When you are National.
So again, this has to do with a road issue. Every week we receive stories and messages that has to do with roads. The irony is that a year ago, our correspondent in that area, Kwesi Jainin, did a report on this same area, and as you can see, very little has been done to solve that problem. We'll take a look at Kwesi's report and then continue the conversation.
This is the beautiful area view of Butray community here in the Ahanta West district of the Western region, a tourism community. And it is a tourism community because of this very fort that was built in 1640 called Fort Batastan. Unfortunately for this tourism attraction, the bad state of the road to this particular community has been denying people who want to actually come and visit this particular fort. But I have the assemblyman who wants to tell me what has been the challenge for people to actually come to this very fort to visit the community. What can you tell me about these forts and the level of patronage when it comes to tourists?
Yo, me pede nkrofo wonhu yin den. Ozan nkrofo ba ukrum ha pa ma wo ban srahwe. Nkan kale titiro ya abrofo. Na oname yana kala kwan. Nti sesi oma ahoho pede wo ba srahwe wo ukrum ha no. Oyezan. De ubotum na waba. Nti oma sesi ano yahwe srahwe no ya tourism fo no. Tourist fo no ya ze yahwe won kura. Nti when you sum day damra ma eyi oya de dada wo twen nkofo ba ukrom ha no say aban na nyi bado na sa oboa na wa ya aban no ye na wa ya hyankwan no ye ya obotum aboa na ogisika ozabla butro mani na nkofo wo ma awon so wenye bibia ye na oma na afa ne tempe fra.
In a recent documentary on best places to travel to in 2019, Ghana was ranked 4th. The list collated by CNN Travel described Ghana as the West African nation of economic success and political stability. The World Travel and Tourism Council, in a report in 2017, highlighted the impact of the sector on Ghana's gross domestic product and on job creation. The report also said the sector accounts for 10.4% of global GDP and 330 million jobs, but the corresponding investment in the sector has been quite low as compared to the resources the country is blessed with in the tourism sector. The butchery situation is just one of the many examples dotted across the country. So this is the bad state of the access road to Butchery, which is a very serious tourism destination. But the road is so bad that this has become a disincentive for tourism.
Due to the road, if any visitor or any tourist want to come here, because of the road, you couldn't come here. And at the same time, we have some hill here. When it rains, it's very difficult for them to climb the hill. So that if they come with a small cars, even the 4x4 car, they can't climb the hill. And the route too has spoiled. Because of that, we couldn't get any visitor here. And so that because of all these things, there is no tourism here.
The poor state of the road to this community has not only affected tourism, but has also become a headache for both commuters and motorists. Some of the angry residents have threatened not to vote in the next election if things do not change.
To get a car is very hard because the road is no good. To come here, everybody don't want to come. The drivers don't want to come here because the hair spoiled. So they must try to come and do something for us. We make sure that this year we can't make the election for the president. We can't vote this year because the road is no good.
Sir, in super demand, you to meet send myself no good or Kwananjo. Near the kind of friends into them a body and towers. Nina say, into watch about 3 days or there, Yoko shop near Kaya de Mekan Wedgma, into your simping for the 1 to 1 year show crow of Butry, near bread.
Agnes Kobner, a farmer, tells City News her farm produce always get rotten as buyers hardly come to the area due to poor nature of the road. Though the Ahanta West Municipal Assembly acknowledges Butcher's tourism potentials, it does not seem to have any immediate plans for the road.
Butcher has always been mentioned in our various reports as a hotbed for tourism. So I want to believe that as we speak and as we move forward in our development plans, we'll find the highlights of those things and then pick them up. I mean, in this case, we need people to partner us from the region all the way to national level. We need to make sure that the potential of tourism within that enclave will be captured. It's not as if we don't work on the roads. We work on the roads, but as it happens, this year we've experienced an unusual rainfall pattern, and that is what has affected the roads. We are grappling on a daily basis as to how to get these things fixed. But at the same time, you have to time it in such a way that you fix it and it will last for a period of time before the next rain affects it. So we are just waiting till the end of
this current season, and then we go back there and fix it up. Although the Tourism Development Authority has been generating some revenue from the tourism levy to boost the sector, it appears their plan for Butray has no timelines.
Now we have current information of Butray from 4 weeks ago, and we have documentary on it, so we know. And I'm tabling it for one of activities in November. Last month or last 2 months ago, I was in Spain. We are having a sister relationship with a whole agency in Las Palmas in terms of Gran Canaria. So one of the areas especially is Butray. The access road and then the Fort Metal Cross and those ones are the things we are trying to assess, because you need to have a specific issue in mind when you are talking.
The sight and sounds from looking at this lagoon from the top of the Fort Batastan here in Butray is a beautiful sight for tourists to actually come here to view or experience. But until the access road to this particular community is actually fixed, this will be a denial to tourists who actually visit Ghana. For City News, I'm Akwesi Jenim, Butray here in the Ahanta West District of the Western Region.
So that's a video by our correspondent Akwesi Jenim breaking down the exact problem of the Butray Road in that area. And we do have the MP of Ahantan West with us. Good morning, Honorable Kojokum.
Good morning, madam. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you so much for being with us. Can you please tell us the status of the road, what you've been able to do to at least fix it?
Hello? I didn't get what you said.
Tell us more about the road and what you've been able to do to solve this problem that your people say they're experiencing.
Yes, thank you very much, and a very good morning to your viewers and listeners. The road network in Ahanta West has experienced drastic improvements under His Excellency Nana Adedankwa Akufo-Addo. As we speak now, some roads are under construction. Indeed, currently the road from Abuade to Atepentin, Kute, Tontum Piasem, and Huntumani to Kute has been captured by the feeder road for reconstruction by DMCC. So hopefully, I am aware that the tender processes have commenced, and I'm very soon, I'm sure they will put up a bid for people to tender for the reconstruction.
But your people are seeing, they've not seen any changes at all, and it's affecting the potential for them to make money from tourism. You know, we are all waiting that come September 1st, maybe our borders will be open. This would have been a great opportunity for them to make some money.
Yes, it's true that tourism is also one of the key drivers of our economy. And you all will also recognize that good roads in itself also facilitates tourist activities in a particular area. That's why I'm saying that once these roads have been captured and some work has been done up to this stage, I'm sure when the road is constructed, it will boost and open up the area to attract the necessary investment. And if you are talking about tourism, we shouldn't even just confine ourselves to the Butray enclave. Currently, there are also activities ongoing, and there are plans to also construct the Miami Jamra Road. I know that one strategic investor wants to put up a big resort at Miami. So once all these roads in the constituency are being worked on, I'm very certain that it will open up the area, not only to attract tourists, but also to make life more comfortable for the people who live in the whole constituency.
So can you give us some timelines on when some of these constructions will begin to take place for the people to actually see?
Hello?
Yes, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Can you give us some timelines so we know that, okay, in this specific area, this is when the construction will take place? Because as it stands now, your people are not seeing anything, so perhaps you can provide some light to that for us.
No, it is not right to say that my people are not seeing anything.
That's what they are saying.
Indeed, if there's any government that has made a lot of infrastructure development in Ahanta West, it is under the able leadership of His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. It is true that the road from Abuadi through to Butre needs serious attention. That's why I'm giving you that assurance that GMPC is seriously working on that road, and that hopefully before the end of the year we'll see some activity on that road.
Yeah, so lastly, the past 3 years, what have you been able to actually do, as an administration to show the people that, okay, this is the progress that we're making, and how do they know that what the remaining 4 months that's left of the year will be able to actually complete some of the things that you were saying will happen?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that if there's any government that has been very, for want of a better word, good to the good people of Ahanta West, under the administration of His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. When you come here now, you see that the road network wasn't that good. But as we speak now, there's road construction on the Princess Road, there's road construction from Antony Quantas to Agyapa, there's road construction from Abraham Quantas bypass to Disco, and then plans are far advanced to do the road from, there's road construction currently from Sankon Quantas to Eprepoint. There are plans to do the Ejamra road, and then even the one on the Princess Road, they are extending to Agyapa. And all these things are happening within these 3 years.
Okay.
So it's not as if the road infrastructure, which we all see as a main line to the opening up of tourist investment in the area, has not been tackled. So once all these roads are ongoing, there's that assurance that 3 major routes have also been captured to be funded by GMPC. I think our people should be patient enough for GMPC to tackle this way for us, so that it will open up the space for all of us.
Okay, so hopefully you're saying that by the end of this year, the roads will be fixed so that people in the community can make some, income from being there and not have to leave. We'll follow back up with you on this to see exactly what we can do and speak to some of the developmental agencies as well on what they are doing to prioritize the road. Thank you very much, Honorable Kojokum, for being with us. And thank you at home for staying. Don't forget that if you have any issues within your community and you want to draw the attention to policymakers, just send it to us via the email hellomrpresidenttv@gmail.com, or our WhatsApp line is 0550585832, and we'll show it right here on Breakfast Daily every Wednesday at 9:30. Take a look at our entertainment highlights and then continue the show.
Welcome to Entertainment Highlights on Breakfast Daily. My name is Ato Kwamina. Ms. Bell's lawyer, James Ebiaduka, has confirmed that Ms. Bell was actually invited to the police station 3 days ago, as reports had it, but was not charged for any offense. He noted that after her statement was taken, she was granted bail without being charged. According to him, the police had asked the parties involved, Ms. Bell and Stacey Amoating, to come back the following day. Ms. Bell was reported to the Greater Accra Regional Police Command by television presenter Stacey Amoating for making a claim about her health status. The lawyer confirmed that Ms. Bell made the comment based on the information Prophet Nigel Gazy gave her concerning Stacey and other friends. Ghanaian Afropop songstress Miss V has disclosed that she has dated twice in her entire life. Miss V, 28, says that last time she dated was 3 years ago and since then hasn't met anyone yet. According to her, she likes a private life, and as a result, she hasn't gained too much experience in relationship matters. Nobody is dating me, honestly. I've been honest to God. The last time I was in a relationship was 3 years ago, and I haven't been in a relationship since then, she said. Ms. V is currently promoting her latest song, Baby. She has been managing her own affairs since she left Lynx Entertainment. Ghanaian film director Samuel Blitz Bazewale has earned another groundbreaking deal after directing Beyoncé's Black is King visual album. Blitz will be directing the Warner Bros. Musical film The Color Purple. The screenplay is being written by Marcus Gardley. The feature's producers Oprah Winfrey, Steve Spielberg, Scott Sanders, and Quincy Jones caught Bazewale's movie The Burial of Kojo on Netflix and were wowed by his vibrant visual style. And that's all for entertainment highlights on Breakfast Daily. My name is Atukwam.
A big congratulations to Blitz, the ambassador there. He's really taking Ghana far.
Yeah.
And you was here a year ago just promoting the Burial of Kojo, and to see his growth since, it's just been amazing.
Yeah. Well, talking about artists doing their thing, we have Twice Africana here.
Yeah.
Good morning to you. How are you?
I'm fine. And you?
Fine, thank you. You're welcome. And first of all, I'm curious. What's the name Twice Africana? Where is that from?
Yeah, Twice is an acronym.
Okay.
Yeah, the world's incredible entertainer.
The world's incredible entertainer.
Then I added Africana because I'm an African. I'm representing Africa fullest. So Twice Africana.
Wow.
I see. Interesting. What projects are you working on? What projects are you doing?
Currently, I have a song going on, Live It Up.
Okay.
I matched it up with the section that we did.
Nice.
And I have another song, Party, coming on. Hopefully, we're also dropping an EP in this October.
Wow. Okay. Next 2 months.
Yeah.
Where do we get all of your projects?
Yeah, so my stuff are online. Just Google Twice Africana.
Okay.
Yeah, to bring everything that I've done. You can Google it. And I have acoustic sessions, mashup sessions like this on my YouTube channel too.
Nice.
You can just log on Twice Africana and just go and have fun.
That's on YouTube as well. Okay, and then your other social media handles?
Yeah, Twice Africana everywhere.
Twice Africana. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you at home for staying for Breakfast Daily. It's been a great show. And of course, if you've missed any segment of the show, just go onto our YouTube page, CityTube, comment, like, share. Don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah, I particularly think the Hello Mr. President segment there, Butre is a very interesting enclave. And in terms of tourism, the potential is huge, but, we haven't done much with it. And these things are really because of access, all of that. So I think it's an important conversation for us to keep up and make sure that we fix things, do things right, so that people can actually just go there easily. I would like to go there with ease, and all of that. So
definitely.
Yeah, good conversation.
So we've gone from Avehime Farms to Butcher Roads, wherever it is you are. We want to see what you're experiencing within your communities, and it's as simple as just taking out your phone and recording an up to 1 minute video. Send that video to us via our email, hellomrpresidenttv@gmail.com, or our WhatsApp line 0550585832, and every Wednesday at 9:30 we'll show it. If you don't have a phone, you can also just text it to us. You have a video that just 250 words, right? Send it to us, the same email and phone number, and we'll show the nation. I think it's about time that citizens were empowered enough to say that I'm going to show the world what I'm going through, and the person responsible for it is going to solve the problem. Because far too often we focus so much on Accra, Kumasi, maybe Takrade, and that's about it.
Well, it's been a fantastic morning. Continue watching City TV. We have so many more things coming up.
Yes, my name is Jiva Ike.
And I'm David Kwekusi.
We'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Take care.